ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकचक्षुरुन्मिलितमेन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोविष्टं स्थापितमेन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदामयं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं गुरो श्रीरूपकं श्रीवैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सर्वना रघुनाथं मितं तां सजीवं साधयतं साधुतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सर्वना ललिता श्रीविशाखावितां च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. Welcome to this discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, based on the books written by Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. So, in our previous classes, we have been discussing about text number 30. So, text number 30 talks about Mahi Sarvani Karmani Sanyasa Adhyatma Chirasa Nirashir Nirmamo Bhutva Yuddhesva Vigata Jura. So, Arjuna, therefore, O Arjuna, surrendering all your works unto me with full knowledge of me, without desires for profit, with no claims to proprietorship, and free from lethargy, fight. So we were talking about the idea of jvara. So jvara means lethargy. Jara also means fever. So when we have fever, we will feel tired. So sometimes we also become hyperactive, and that is called as mania. The people become maniac of some specific sports like cricket or football. So their consciousness is full of that specific game like cricket or football. This gripping by mania happens because they have the fever over there. The modes of material nature force the people to their influence. The modes of material nature act very subtly. So when there is a World Cup series, everybody comes under the attack of mode of passion or ignorance. Once the sports is over, they forget about it altogether. So what changed the mode carried the people. So what changed is the modes carried the people under the influence and made them act in that particular way. Same thing happens when there is a new fashion being introduced. This new fashion is one of the vehicle of mode of ignorance or passion. So everyone gets influenced by that. They will have their same similar hairstyles, shoes, dress, and so on. So once the modes withdraw the vehicle of fashion, everybody forgets that. So even from the material point of view, it is amazing how this maniac and forgetfulness happens. So maniac is one phase, and after that vehicle is gone or the fever is gone, then they forget about it. So this is complete foolishness of the people. That is how it happens. It is because of the foolishness of the people. And this fever, um, the people become feverish about things in this world. So this is fever. This feverishness is due to the influence of three modes of material nature. In today's lifestyle, the time of people is mainly occupied by the profession, and the other important aspect that block our time is shopping or watching TV. The whole family is united in illusion of watching TV or media. They have their own individual phones or TVs, and they are lost in the illusion. This makes them dull mentally and also dull physically. So in TV or any media, the enjoyment is second-hand. Hero and heroine are dancing, hugging, and kissing. We think that we are doing it. Somebody else is enjoying, and we think we are enjoying. This is second-hand enjoyment. That is why we watch TV or movies. We want something to eat. So when we watch TV or movies, we want something to eat because everything is illusion. At least what we drink and what we eat must be real. So we keep our tongues busy. Thus, we eat unconsciously when we are watching these movies. This is how modes of material nature carry us away from reality. When when we are conscious of what we are eating, when we say that it is enough and hence we stay healthy. When our consciousness is held by something which is illusion, we are carried by it. Hence, we are not conscious of our eating. This is an example of how we get carried away by modes. So the example which we saw is from Maniac is football or TV series, or World Series or cricket series. And then we saw about the fashion, particular time it comes and then it goes. And then how we get infatuated by TV and movies where we keep on eating food. So we get addicted to eating. So TV and media are not run by compassionate people, but by passionate people who want to make money by their advertisements and program. This put in illusion. So we are put in illusion of constant craving for new things. If it puts us in illusion that if we are not changing the things around us, which are outdated, then we get outdated. This results the next important thing that block our mind, which is shopping. And this is more like an addiction. This is shopaholic. So, so the advertisements makes us tells us that whatever we have is outdated. So we need to constantly buy. Otherwise, we get outdated. So an alcoholic cannot stop drinking alcohol. So they know that drinking will cause ruination of their health, wealth, family, relationship, intelligence, integrity. Still, they cannot stop drinking. This is addiction. Same thing with shopaholics as well. They buy things without any reason. With the digital currency, the people do not realize the money they are spending. They have the policy of shop till you drop physically or financially. This is because from everywhere there is a message that this is important or that is important. Carried by modes of passion and ignorance, people do not think and hence they are addicted. So we as the devotees should understand that this expansion of digital world is expansion of mode of passion. Hence, remain cautious about this. Best advertisements are the ones which makes us feel that we cannot survive without buying the product which are being advertised. Although we can live without them, but they make us feel that we cannot live without them. That is how advertisement affects us. In short, people are busy doing their profession for major part of time. When they are relaxing, they watch TV or media, which gives them various ideas to get addicted to, and hence they shop. Work, watch, shop. This is the mantra of the people in day-to-day life. When we shop, then we have to earn more. Hence, we spend time in our work, or we take more and more loans. This way, we are bound in the infinite loop of illusion. This work, watch, shop, or what? This is work, watch, shop, or worldwide stupidity. This is encompassing everyone. This shows how mode of passion can captivate someone. The above discussion was slightly deterred from our discussion, but the emphasis is kartaham iti manyate. If you see, see shloka 3.27, prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasah ahankara vimutatma kartaham iti manyate. Spirit soul bewildered by the influence of false ego thinks himself a doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature. So in the current shloka, that is Yuddhasya Vigata Jvara. So if you see here, Yuddhasya Vigata Jvara, Yuddhasva refers to the specific activity which will satisfy Krishna. This could be also our prescribed duty. However, when we live in the world, we can come under the attack of frenzy or mania. This is Vigata Jara. Without being lethargic, without getting under the control of mania or frenzy, we need to fight. This is this is Vigata Jara. So this will leave us, this Vigata Jara will leave us senseless and bankrupt. To overcome this, what we should do? Nirashe nirmamo bhutva. Nirashe nirmamo bhutva. Without desire or profit for ownership, we should do our swadharma. Nirashe without desire for profit. Nirmama without ownership. So we need to do our swadharma. This means we need to understand that we came in this world with nothing and we have to go out of the world without anything. Hence, do not have the mentality of ownership and profit. Only thing we need to understand is or I need to understand is a connection with Krishna. Then I should nurture and do not go behind other things in the world. So Krishna is the only relationship which we should nurture in this world. So there was a great scholar by name Socrates. He was a great thinker. He was simple and austere. One time he went to market and was watching how different articles were sold in the market. One of his friends, looking him stand in the market, asked him, "Are you bitten by shopping bug?" So Socrates replied, "I am looking at different things which people are buying unnecessarily. These are all unnecessity which people are shopping. Why are they shopping? It is Vigata Jwala. This is kind of feverishness we should be free from." So he replied, "I am looking at the different things which people are buying unnecessarily." So this unnecessary buying is Jwala. Okay, so let us go to the next shloka. एवे मतम इदम नित्यम अनुतिष्ठन्ति मानवः श्रद्धावन्तो अनुष्यन्तो मुच्यन्ते अपि कर्मभि. So what does this mean? To those persons who execute their duties according to my injunctions and who follow these teachings faithfully without envy become free from the bondage of fruitive action. So in the next two verses, that is this verse and the next verse, Krishna talks about faith. These are Krishna's words, these are eternal words. So Krishna is pointing out that faithful adherence to his words, people will get liberated. Those people who execute their duties according to my injunctions, who follow these teachings faithfully, become free from bondage of fruitive actions. So they get liberated from cycle of karma. So Srila Prabhupada's purport here is very significant. The injunction, Prabhupada writes, the injunction of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna is the essence of all Vedic wisdom and therefore is eternally true without exception. As the Vedas are eternal, so this truth of Krishna consciousness is also eternal. One should have firm faith in this injunction without envying the Lord. There are many philosophers who write comments on Bhagavad Gita but have no faith in Krishna. They will never be liberated from the bondage of fruitive action. But an ordinary man with firm faith in eternal injunctions of the Lord, even though unable to execute such orders, becomes liberated from the bondage of law of karma. In the beginning of Krishna consciousness, one may not fully discharge the injunctions of the Lord. But because one is not resentful, this is very important, not resentful of the principle and works sincerely without consideration of defeat and hopelessness, he will surely be promoted to stage of pure consciousness. So the point is, even though we are not able to execute the orders, but we have a firm faith in the order, we get liberated. We should not be resentful. This is the most important point which Srila Prabhupada is making. So there is a sincere effort and no consideration of defeat or hopelessness. We are doing our best. So we have strong desire to become devotee. If that desire is there, then we can easily come up in Krishna consciousness. So if you see here, chapter, from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 19.167, Anyavilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Anartha Anukulyena Krishnana Shilana Bhakti Bhakti Uttama. When first class devotional service develops, one must be devoid of all material desires, knowledge obtained by monistic philosophy, and fruitive action. The devotee must constantly serve Krishna favorably as Krishna desires. So even if we are not able to do it, we should not be resent. No, we should not resent the principle. This resentment creates a wall between us and Krishna. Some of the resentments is that why I should serve Krishna, why I should not enjoy. Servant used here is in the negative connotation. When Srila Prabhupada uses the word servant, it is with positive connotation. It is an activity done with most congenial form of intimacy. This relationship between servant and master in transcendental world is very sweet. We need to understand that Krishna loves me and I love him. Love means service. With this understanding, when we engage in the service of Krishna, there is no resentment and no difficulty. Pure devotee means they are engaged in pure devotional service and have no material desire. Potential pure devotees have adapted the principle of devotional service to Krishna and are not and are trying their best they are trying their best to practice this principle by following the rules and regulations. They will be able to uh, um, they will be able to gradually come up in the principle. If we do not have resentment, and if I'm trying I don't resent anything, but I try to chant attentively. uh, Even though I'm doing it, I'm not able to concentrate. So I can do two things. One, I can throw the bead back. This is frustration. Srila Prabhupada in the purport is telling without consideration of defeat and hopelessness. We should continue our practice. This will result in gradual purification. So if we are trying our best to chant and we are not able to concentrate, we should not throw the bead back, but continue the practice. So this is what Prabhupada is telling. So this is what it means to work without consideration for defeat and hopelessness. We should continue our practice. This will result in purification. Krishna is pleased by both our action and our intention. To begin with, we must have good intention of service. The devotees and the Lord, devotees of the service of the devotees and the Lord, wholeheartedly. When we keep trying, even if we fail, Krishna sees our intention and is pleased with our intention. Then he grants purification. This results in alleviation. This gives satisfaction. This is because we are connecting with Krishna. Even if we fail in properly chanting, following regulatory principles, if we keep continuing our service to Krishna with the clarity that Krishna, you are my master and I am your servant, this results, when we have this type of view, this results in purification and then elevation and satisfaction. So this is very important. If you see this shloka number 2.65, प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानां हानिरस्योपजायते प्रसन्नचेतसो हि आशु बुद्धिपर्यवतिष्ठते. For one thus satisfied in Krishna consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. In such a satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is soon well established. Thus, following the principles becomes easy. Thus, the point is that principles are very applicable in our life, in my life. These are difficult to practice in the beginning. However, if I put all effort to practice, then we gradually elevate. This mindset is required. This results in gradual elevation. This is emphasized by the word Shraddhavanto Anushyanto Muchyante Shraddhavanto Anushyanto. With full faith and devotion, without envy. So the next verse, so this verse talks about what happens when someone practices with all faith. The next verse, the focus is on people who are unfaithful. Let's go to the next shloka. Etve itat abhyasuyanto nanu tistanti me matam sarvanyana vimudamstan vidhi nashtan achetasa. So here, but those who out of envy disregard these teachings and do not follow them regularly are to be considered
Hare
bereft
Krishna,
of
Prabhuji.
knowledge, befooled, and ruined in their endeavors for perfection. So here, in this verse, there is a word called as nanutistanti. Nanutistanti, and in the previous verse, which is just a moment, anutistanti. So in this verse, in the that 3.31, it is anutistanti, and anutistanti means execute regularly. Nanutistanti means regularly perform. Now, do not regularly perform. So the point emphasized here is that the principle that ultimately everything is to be offered to Krishna. If we reject or resent this principle, and if we withdraw it into our own shell of isolation and self-centered enjoyment, then whatever knowledge we acquire or whatever endeavors we carry out, it will be lost. Why this will be lost? The reason the soul without Krishna cannot be happy. So many of the atheist philosophers of last century have gone insane and mad at the end of their life. They committed suicide. One of the philosophers said, "There is no God, no soul. This is the life we have. This life is filled with suffering. This is gloomy worldview." So this is only question in life is whether we have to commit suicide today or tomorrow. This is a very, very untrue picture. This philosophy is a very, very untrue picture. This is in line with Sarvanyana Vimudamstan and Vidhi Nyanas Achetasa. Sarvanyana Vimudamstan Vidhi Nashta Achetasa. They will be bereft of all knowledge, befooled and ruined in their endeavors for perfection. One who rejects Krishna will not get any perfection. He will stay in the life of repeated birth and death, in the life of bondage. Krishna's instruction to Arjuna is that Arjuna has to practice Karma Yoga and graduate himself to Bhakti Yoga, not Jnana Yoga. Okay, with this point, let us go to the next sloka. 3.33 Sadrisham chestate swasya prakrite jnanavanapi prakritim yanti bhutani nigraha kim karishyati. So, okay, let's do one important recap here. Okay, I'm not able to find it. Let's go to the shloka. So, if you see shloka number 3.30, Mahi sarvani karmani sannyasa adhyatma chetasa Nirashir Nirmamo Bhutva Yuddhasva Vigatajvara, which means, uh, which means, O Arjuna, surrendering all your works unto me with full knowledge of me, without desire of profit, with no claims to proprietorship, and free from lethargy, fight. So this is one sloka. The other sloka is 3.19. Yeah. Tasmat asakta satatam karyam karma samachara asakto hi acharam karma param apnoti purusha. Therefore, without being attached to the fruit of activities, one should act as a matter of duty, for by working without attachment, one attains supreme. So, if you see the shlokas, in this shloka, we should work without getting attached to fruits of activities. So, by doing this, we at one attains supreme. Now, if I go to shloka number 13, surrendering all your works unto me with full knowledge of me, without desires for profit, with no claims to proprietorship, and free from lethargy, fight. So this is work itself for Krishna. Then 31, sloka number, those persons who execute their duties according to my injunction and who follow this teaching faithfully with envy become free from bondage of fruitive action. So we need to work for Krishna, follow his instruction with full faith. And here on sloka number 32, we understood that if we do not consider this, if we disregard the teachings, we will be lost. Our endeavors will be lost. So the idea conveyed here is that we need to dovetail our nature and do our prescribed duty. So we need to work for Krishna, but we have to work in such a way that it is aligned with our nature and it is aligned with one's prescribed duties. So if you will go back here, so all living entities act according to the modes of nature acquired by them. So here Nigraha kim karishyati. So, sadrisham chestate swasya. Prakrite jnanamanapi. Prakritim yanti bhutani. Nigraha kim karishyati. So, Krishna is telling, surrender all types of work for me. Work with faith. If you don't follow my instruction, you will fall down. So, first is surrender the fruits of work. Work for me. Work with complete faith in my instructions. If you don't follow my instruction, you will get ruined. So now here in this shloka, it is said that even a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature, for everyone follows the nature he has acquired from the three modes. So what can repression accomplish? All living entities act according to the modes of nature acquired by them. So then what does this repression mean? So we need to understand the shloka very well. So this repression, should we then let loose ourselves because we are driven by the modes of nature? Then what does this line really mean? Nigraha. What does repression do? We generally speak repression of wrong desire to advance in devotional service. We need to get rid of these wrong desires. So Krishna is telling even knowledge will not help one to curb this nature. We need to understand what this prakriti means, modes of nature means in this shloka. It is not that six enemies of mind like kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. These are not what Krishna is referring here. He is referring to the propensities within Varna, which is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, that cannot be repressed. There are two types of urges come when there is a contact of soul with the body. These urges are to be curtailed, and some of them are urges to be doubted. This understanding is very important to practice in spiritual life. So what do we mean by when we say Some of the activities needs to be harmonized. Some of them are not to be harmonized. If there is a Brahmana, he acts in an intellectual way in his nature. This is psychophysical nature. It is not the nature of the soul, but with the body in which the soul resides. The body has a particular way of functioning. This action is not sinful in itself, but this needs to be doubted. Vasana, actually, that is Vasana. Vasana is generated by Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. The Brahminical tendency or Kshatrikal tendency is not generated by Vasana. However, everyone within all the Varnas will get affected by Vasana. So vasanas are nothing but activities that are anarthas, which anartha means which do not have any meaning. So we need proper knowledge to deal with anarthas. Everyone in Varna needs to regulate the activities to prevent anarthas. However, the level of regulation differs among them. Shudra is considered not capable in control of senses. Shudra is not Brahmana. We see that Brahmanas are respected so much. They live a very comfortable life. They have to give only lecture, they do yagna, no, as such any hard work. However, they need to lead a life of kindliness and purity. For Shudra, the psychophysical nature will not suit. Shudra will not be able to live like that. The psychophysical nature does not suit him. Here we are not talking about Brahmana Shudra by birth but by qualities. It is not that Shudra cannot get elevated. He can get elevated gradually. This happens by practicing one's duty in Varnashrama. Beyond that, Shudra can also get elevated to a higher platform by practice of bhakti. Let me share my screen one second. So, Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 8.128 says, Kiba Vipra Kiba Nyasi Shudra Kena Nae, Ye Krishna Tattva Veta se Guru hai. Whether one is a Brahmana, a sannyasi, or a Shudra, regardless of what he is, he can become a spiritual master if he knows the signs of Krishna. So, the Shudra mentality or Brahmana mentality is based on the psychophysical nature, but driven by the lower modes, which are due to kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, we tend to do anarthas, non-meaningful activities. So how that is because of our vasana. So now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here is talking about that if a Shudra knows the signs of Krishna, he can become Guru. There are 2 points, namely the outer position and the inner understanding. What this verse tells is that both are possible for Shudra. Shudra can get understanding of Krishna very easily, and if he does that, he can be a Guru. The point here is that Varnashrama system is a progression in gradual way, and if one practices bhakti, that could be rapid elevation. When Shudra becomes a devotee, will he be continuing the Shudra activity? Yes, they will continue their occupational duty even if they are devotees. So if we see BG 3.33, Sadrisham Chestate Swate Prakrite Jnanavan Api Prakriti Jnanti Bhutani Nigraha Kim Karishati. That is this shloka. So if you see this shloka, he will act according to his nature. Prakrite Yanti Bhutani. Nature he has acquired from the three modes of nature. So, Srila Prabhupada is addressing the point how Vedic scriptures offer a program to regulate ourselves. So, if we see the purport, there are many so-called spiritualists who outwardly pose as advanced in science, but inwardly or privately are completely under particular modes of nature which they are unable to surpass. So inwardly means they do not express to anyone. Privately means they express it in private. This means they all have sinful desire which they try to suppress in their hearts and they keep it in hidden from the public view. This is because of modes of nature they have acquired, which they are unable to repress. And this is driven by Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. So, if you see the last three lines here, no one should suddenly give up his prescribed duties and become a so-called yogi or transcendentalist artificially. It is better to be situated in one's position and to try to attain Krishna consciousness under superior training. Thus, one may be freed from clutches of Krishna's Maya. This means it is better to practice karma yoga. This will ultimately lead to bhakti yoga. This is the point being made here by Krishna. Srila Prabhupada is telling about bhakti yoga here. It is better to be situated in one's position, offer the fruits of one's work to Krishna, continue practicing devotional service. The whole thrust of this verse is that one should act according to one's nature. One should not suppress one's nature. That will not lead to any good. Now, there are some organizations which distort this verse and they say, Nigraha kim karishyati. Nigraha means what does repression accomplish? They say this is essence of Bhagavad Gita. The essence of Bhagavad Gita is what? Sarva dharman parityajya Mamekam Sharanamaja Aham Tam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayasyami Masucha Manmana Bhava Madbhakto Madhyagi Mam Namaskuru Mam Evasisi Yuktvayo Atmanam Mat Parayana. Or if you go to 10th chapter, it is 10.8. Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo Mattaha Sarvam Pravartate Iti Matva Bhajante Ma Buddha Bhava Samavettaha Machita Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Paraspara Katayantascha Mamnityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha Tesham Satata Yuktana Bhajatam Priti Purokam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Enamam Upayantite Tesham Evanukam Partam Aham Agyana Jamtama Nashayami Atma Bhavasto Jnana Deepena Basmate. So that means I am the source of spiritual and material world. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. 10th shloka. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with shining lamp of knowledge dense darkness born of ignorance. According to Ramanujacharya, this is Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita. So these are the verses which are described by Acharyas as important shloka, not Nigraha Kim Karishyati. The pseudo spiritualists who are materialist in spiritual garb say Nigraha Kim Karishyati as the essence of Bhagavad Gita. What can repression accomplish? This means whatever be your desire, just indulge in it. No need of any control. By indulging in desire, you will enjoy. These people are completely misleading everyone. We repute this this misinterpretation of Gita in many ways. The first one is a question by Arjuna. So if you see the series of question after this, you will take sloka number 3.36. Arjuna is asking, अतकेन प्रयुक्तोया पापां चरति पुरुष अनिच्छेनपि वार्ष्णेय balad eva niyojita. If you see the shlokas here, especially from shloka number 36, so he is telling what is one impulse to do sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force. So, if the idea was to indulge in sinful activities and indulge in sense gratification, then why is Krishna and Arjuna discussing about sense control in shlokas from 36 to 43? So Krishna essentially says that one has to control the lusts by use of intelligence and sense control. Sense control internally and use intelligence to move to spiritual platform. Krishna emphasizes this point that one has to control this sinful propensity. If Nigraha Kim Karishyati in BG 3.33, Bhagavad Gita 3.33 is a license for unrestricted sense enjoyment or sense indulgence, then Arjuna would not have asked such a question. He would not ask a question of in 3.36. Arjuna would not have asked any question. Why are we impelled to do sinful activities? So why would Arjuna have the apprehension about sinful activity? Why would Krishna make the point that lust is our greatest enemy? So he is telling here, Supreme Personality of Godhead is saying, it is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with material mode of passion and later transformed into wrath, and which is of the all-devouring sinful enemy. So this is we need further discussion on this point, Nigraha Kim Karishyati, but I will stop here. I will open now for discussion. Any questions now? We can go for question answers.
Hare Krishna. Maybe Mataji has something, if you would like to ask.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Prabhu?
Krishna.
Prabhu,
Yes,
give questions, Prabhu. Questions, Prabhu, for
Uh,
this chapter.
if you have any questions on the whatever we discussed now, let us discuss that.
As of now, if I see the questions only, I'll know.
Okay.
Okay,
Prabhu, you
Prabhu,
have
I'll go.
any question? Okay. Prabhu, you have any question?
Well, there was one thing I was wondering about. We have this, well, quite often cited scene of, I think it was Bon Maharaj who was there in London and discussing with some lord or some noble person, so to speak, noble-blooded person, and who was in a joking or in a jest was asking Bon Maharaj that, could you make me a brahmana? And then Bon Maharaj said that, well, yeah, sure, that you just give up these illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication, and gambling, and then it's possible. And then this Lord said that, well, this is impossible. That is like the sum and substance of our very existence. So, what is the hope of such a person? Can such a person, if the person is so deeply engrossed in these kind of things, is there any hope of elevation? And what usually is the factor that brings about, as you were discussing also, how a Shudra can transcend and can go beyond that being a Shudra? But what usually is a factor that gives us the impetus to want to elevate?
Yeah. So I actually like to elaborate on your question. You asked the question, why Krishna comes to this material world? Uh, why he comes to this material world? And actually, there is a good realization on in Vishnu Sahasranam. If you see the first names of Krishna, Vishwam, Vishnu, Vashatkaro, Bhuta, Bhavya, Bhavat, Prabhu, Bhutakrit, Bhutabrit, Bhava, Bhutatma. So here, Vishwam means universe.
Yeah, who's that talking?
Vishwa means it is universe. Vishnu means one who permeates, who enters the universe. Vishwam, Vishnu, Vashatkara. Vashatkara means one who controls the entire universe. Vishwam, Vishnu, Vashatkara, Bhuta, Bhavya, Bhavat. Bhuta means past, Bhavya means present, Bhavat means what is coming in future. Bhuta, Bhavya, Bhavat, Prabhu is master of all these three things. Then Bhutakrit is the one who is creator. Bhutabrit, one who is holder of all this creation. Bhutabrit, Bhava. Bhava means is the feeling behind everything that is happening in this world. Bhutatma. Bhutatma means he is the soul of all living entities. That means as Mahavishnu, he is the soul of the entire creation. As Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, he is soul of every universe. As Shirodakashayi Vishnu, he is the soul of every living entity. These are the um, these are the features of Supreme Personality of Godhead, how he interacts with the material world, how he interacts with the material world. Now, the next name which Bhishma gives after this is Putatma. Putatma means pure Atma. Though Krishna is in contact with the material world, he never gets contaminated. He is pure Atma. Now, this purity of Krishna, how is it? What is this purity? How do you define purity? You have different ways of measuring purity of different chemicals and physical substances in this world. For example, you have gold for which you have carat as a measure. Then for water, you define the total dissolved solids and whether it is potable or not, and so on. There's one more thing which is purity of character. So character as such is something which is not there in Western world. In India, it's losing its people don't. There was something called as character sometime back. Now, very few people really discuss about it. Everything people discuss right now is only money, but the character, purity of character. So, what is purity of character? If Krishna lies to protect his devotees, his character does not get tarnished. If he steals people's clothes, if he kills women, if he kills bull, he is still praised. If he runs away from the field, so these are all bad character, but that is praised by people. So, what is purity? Purity is something which is based on what Krishna decides. So, everything is for Krishna. So, it is Akhilarte Krishna, Sarva. Everything is for pleasure of Krishna, and Krishna's behavior is achintya. It is beyond our conception. So now, what is this? The sinlessness is because he is the most powerful person in the world. So the king of a country can pardon even the wildest of the criminals because he has that power. He is the lawmaker. Therefore, Krishna manifests in this world in different ways. His purity, the force of his purity, comes from his power, and he has manifested this purity in multiple ways. So, one is air. Air is pure, it purifies things, but air can also get poisonous. If something gets mixed in it, it can become poisonous. So its purity is questionable. Then second important thing is gobar, which is cow dung. Cow dung is also purifying agent. So the purifying agent can also, the cow dung is usually used for cleaning homes, yagna kunda, cleaning vessels for offering to Krishna. But if you mix it with wine, then it gets polluted. Or mix it with alcohol, it gets polluted. Then the third important purifier is Ganges, water of Ganga. But if there is too much of stool, urine, chemical mixed in it, then it becomes impure. We cannot drink it. It will put us in disease. But Krishna's name and his pastimes are so pure that when a pure devotee chants it and somebody hears it, then it sows the seed of Krishna consciousness in him. When it will fructify, we do not know. But when a pure devotee chants, so if we distribute Prabhupada's books, it's laden with full mercy of Krishna. So it is this mercy of Krishna that we're talking about is the purifying factor of Krishna. So does it manifest when a Mayavad philosopher talks about it? No. Krishna, when we call him as Achintya Veda Veda Tattva, when we call him as a person who is completely, who is full in all the six opulences, who is the supreme personality of God. When we call him in relationship with Radha, when we call him in relationship with Yashoda, when we treat him as the supreme object of worship, then he manifests his purity. So Mayavad philosophers, even if they chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but they chant with the idea that they will also become Krishna sometime. So Krishna does not manifest there. Krishna manifests when a pure devotee calls his name with full surrender. So that is very, very important. And that is available to us through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself who has come as his devotee, as Krishna's devotee. And the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, purifying force is available to Srila Prabhupada through his books. So when we distribute Srila Prabhupada's books, we plant this purifying factor. So it is not only purifying one from sins, but it is also purifying from the sinful tendency. Therefore, what manifests purity? Purity is coming from power of Krishna, which is manifested through the heart of a devotee. So it is very important that when we read scriptures from bona fide acharyas. We should not read from anybody else. So book distribution, Harinam Sankirtan, Prasadam, all these are purifying agents. So even a most sinful person will get not will stop, and when he chants, even if he is not chanting, just hearing some devotee chanting, it purifies his heart. So Krishna's mercy is available like that. So this is my answer of to your question, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. That will do for now. Maybe it would be interesting to hear you speak a little bit on the topic, maybe the next time, next week, on this topic, how the chanting of the supremely pure holy name can even have a poisonous effect, or under what kind of circumstances can that take place. It would be interesting to hear a little bit on this.
Okay, Prabhu. We will see. I have. Let me see. We can not immediately. Maybe in the next few classes, we can definitely discuss about it.
That would
Sure,
be nice.
Prabhu.
Very good. Very good. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Okay. So if there are no questions, then we stop here. Thank you very much. पंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। ग्रंथराज भगवद गीता की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। जगत गुरु श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि 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 ओम। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
हरे कृष्ण दास जी।